Dean, happy Thanksgiving. And
Wait.
Canadian Thanksgiving? You're Canadian.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Ports.
How, just tell me how cool it was to have Guy Gaudreau on the ice and how much you let him do, and did he put the players through the ringer?
Yeah. Okay, you guys probably know more than me, but I've been told that, like, Johnny Gaudreau is a rink rat. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Okay, he just wanted to be on the ice. Like, he just wanted to be here. And then, we asked him, do you want to speak in the room? Before we went in, had a little meeting. He said no, and then he had a little chat with the guys, and then on the ice, he was just like, it looked like he was just just having a blast, right? Like, just having fun skating. And finished practice, come in, and I said to him, like, anytime you want to come out, you're more than welcome. And he said, well, are you having morning skate tomorrow? He said, yeah. So he's coming out tomorrow as well. So he just wants to be around, and it's fantastic. So yeah, he's all that family's been through. It's been fantastic, and his attitude and the way that he had such a positive attitude and in our room, and we were doing practice plan, and he's jumping in on stuff, and it was really nice. And obviously, Torts, had him out in Philadelphia and gave us the idea, and thanks to him, and it, I think it's fantastic that he can be around our hockey club.
What do you anticipate tomorrow being like, I guess, in all ways?
Emotional, right? Everyone, and we've talked about this before, everyone's going to go through it, and they're going to have their own emotions and feelings, and everyone's going to express it differently as far as their how they're going to they're going to react to situations, and that's fine. And we've talked to our group about that as well, is just to just let it go. If you need to cry, then cry. If you need to talk about Johnny, if you need to just giggle about things, then do that, right? And because it's such a an unprecedented thing, and something that obviously none of us wanted to go through, and nobody ever wants to go through it, but we have to, and we are going to have an emotional day, but we're going to use all that emotion and turn it into a energy for us as a group moving forward, and throwing that on the ice when that puck drops.
I'm guessing you loved the donkey hat and all that it represents, just the way that's sort of a little bit of levity and memory and all that.
Yeah, I'll elaborate, and I'll tell you how it went forward. I don't even know what game it was in preseason, and you think about stuff after it all goes on. So we finish a game, we win. I don't even know which game it was, and we go in and have a little talk, and then I'm like, do we have because normally we have a chat, one of the coaches talks or somebody talks, and then we always say, give the hat out or give whatever the team has. And I said, what do we have? I asked, and then the guy said that they've had a cappy. And so I talked to the coaches, and we had decided, maybe it's time to change, and maybe it's something, that Johnny would want, or, something that represents Johnny. So the next day, I asked Boone to come in and talk to us, and I started my conversation, or started telling him, and he goes, yeah, you want something different? We've got something different, and we've already ordered it, and it's what Johnny wants. It's exactly like that. Like, it was just matter of fact, and he had already ordered it, and they'd already talked about it. They've already made that decision. So that to me is wonderful, right? That's leadership. That's who Boone is, and whoever as a group they had decided that's what they were going to do, and then he did tell me. I said, well, why the donkey hat? And he said, well, Johnny called everybody donkeys. Like, this guy's a donkey, that guy's a donkey. So that special player or the guy that they feel had the influence on the game or whatever is the donkey of the game. It's fantastic.
When you think about the Gaudreau family and their not just appreciation of hockey, but their embracing their passionate enjoyment of the sport, when you see him on the ice today and him trying to translate that joy to players, what's your observation of just him with a stick in his hand, living in the moment?
Mm-hmm. Well, I watched him at the start. Well, first off, we were all getting ready, and Nicky was taking the goalies out, and he was already in his gear and had his tracksuit. And he said, "Where are you going?" Nicky goes, "I'm taking a goalie." He says, "Can I come out?" He went out with Nicky. Like, he was the first guy on the ice. Second, Nicky probably went on first, and then he went on. And yeah, he did. And then I was watching him. I was watching the goalie shoot, and he's skating around talking to different players, and I think just loved be on the ice. Just wanted to. And then afterwards, even before he was telling stories about running the rinks that he was running, and I chatted with him about when I met with Johnny that morning. He had skated with Johnny, and I said, "Yeah, Johnny said you work him pretty hard," and he's like, "Oh yeah," and he was very serious. Like, it was like, no, I had him up and down the ice, and I forget what he called it, his wallies or whatever we were doing that morning, and then we had Guy do I said, not a drill, but we have a skate at the end that we call the Johnny skate, and it's a guy that shoots a puck in the net from the one end, and if he makes it in the net, it's a 1 lap for the players. If he misses, it's 3 laps, 1, 3. And so I said, "Do you want to shoot on the net?" And he goes, "Yeah, and I'll miss it on purpose." Yeah, so I got out there and I said, "Full disclosure, guys," I said, "Guy said this," and Guy goes, "I told him we were going to miss on purpose, so you guys have to skate." And he missed on purpose, and they skated. So he loves the game, loves hockey, and it was again a joy to have him out there.
The camaraderie that he gets to enjoy and gets to enjoy the experience. Just being around the game, being around team, being around this team. What do you think that experience like?
Yeah, it's great to have Guy here. Even a couple times, just reminds you of the exact same stuff John would do. So it was fun to have him. He definitely brought a positive note to our practice today.
When you talk to him, how do you try to manage that conversation? You've been in communication the whole time, but when you think about, what do I want to do? What do I want to say? What do I want to communicate? How do you go about doing that?
Well, I think it's, first of all, how much John meant to us and how much we miss him, and then second of all, just good memories of things that moments we had with John and fun parts about practice where he'd be at that moment or what he'd be doing at that moment. I think those are the things you want to communicate. Obviously, yeah, like you said, it's something to think about and be cognizant of. But I think that's the best way to maybe do a tiny little piece of helping.
Does the positioning of your locker in proximity to next door, how does that get your attention when you come in every day?
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, just to be sitting next to John, obviously between myself and Monahan, and definitely a reminder. Not that you need a reminder just because you're thinking about it a lot, but it's sometimes you just stop and pause, and a nice little reminder of where John would be.
What has stood out to you among all the tributes from around the league and what the Jackets have been doing?
Well, I think it's just the outpouring of support from the hockey world. I think it's been just so intense and widespread and lasting. I think that's been the most special part. It's anywhere we've gone, players on other teams, coaches on other teams, management on other teams, fans, workers at the arena. I mean, every single person just stops you to mention something. And I think, it's a big, huge family trying to help everybody along.
When you think about your emotions tomorrow night, you have a job to do. professionalism, all of that stuff comes into play. But there's also another element to it. How do you go about trying to manage, just doing the best you can, trying to manage a tough night?
Yeah, I think there's emotions that are going to come up, and it's going to be emotional, and then just like John, we're turning on the game, and we're playing hockey, and we're learning, taking after things he would do and play his butt off, and we're going to do the same. I think that's really the only way forward. Is it's not going to just learning to move. I think with it, and part of that is playing good hockey, and just like John would.
Experience like today with Guy out there and having some fun with him. Yeah, it was good to see him. Obviously, it's a tough situation. You don't want to see him under these circumstances, but they are what they are, and I'm really happy that the coaching staff opened up their doors to him today. That man loves hockey, and it was just great for him to be out there with us, passing some pucks around.
So can you give us some examples of we obviously know the Gaudreau family famously has an extraordinary passion for the sport, but him specifically, what's been your experience with him over the years in just seeing some examples of the way that he cares about the sport, cares about you guys play it?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it started in Calgary. The first time I met Guy after a game, he came right up to me after first time I met him and just said, "I'm really happy you're here. I'm really happy you fit in on this team really well, and I love your game, and keep playing really hard. You would be helping us." And that stuck with me, and he's been the same for the last 3 years, and he's a very, very positive person. And he's it wasn't just with John. He had no trouble going up to his teammates and letting them know that they're playing great and working hard, and that they're really valued to him and his family. So that's always really special from him.
What'd you think of Monahan wearing the donkey hat?
Oh, it's great. It's great. I'm really happy that we've kind of switched it up. I think it's fitting for us. It was a great idea, and I wish the little guy was still here calling us that. But no, Monty's the right guy to get that the first time for sure. He battled through a lot. The injuries to get his body to where he's at now. Along with coming here and his close friendship with John and how he played the first 2 games of the season, it was an absolute no-brainer.
You originated the idea of leaving the donkey hat.
I think it was Boone. Yeah. He's been here forever with the other hat and wanted to switch it up. Felt like it was a new direction, time to break away from that, and it's a great idea.
I think when you first heard him say that, you're like, "That's perfect," or
yeah, I knew it was coming. So, but to hear the first one come out was awesome, and he did a great job in presenting it and gave it to the right guy for sure.
Yeah. Did you ever hear Ken Johnson's story about him being a Gaudreau fan when he was a kid?
Yeah.
Was that? I mean, you're a guy who was around Johnny's age. I mean, how cool is that to see that story kind of unfolded?
Yeah, for sure. That's the cool part of this NHL is if you make it, you never know, you might be sitting beside your idol one day, and that's a great story for KJ and very similar players on the undersized side and just being able to be around him and play with someone that you looked up to. I was fortunate to do the same thing. I was a huge Ed Jovanovski fan growing up and ended up being my first D partner, which was kind of wild. So. Yeah, that's the very cool stuff that happens in the NHL.
Yeah. Just how do you anticipate balancing the emotions of tomorrow night versus the professionalism, playing a game, doing
Yeah.
How do you do this to things?
It's not. We're just going to channel it into good energy. We've talked about it at like a few times, and there's going to be some tough moments. There's no doubt about it. You still miss them, but once that puck drops, we're going to channel that energy and all that emotion and put it into a great product tomorrow, and break 2 points back.
You guys so far, I mean, it's 2 games into it, right? We got 80 of them left, but it feels just kind of from the outside watching you guys play that you guys are playing. It's going to sound cliche, but with
like happy with joy. Like it just feels like you guys are kind of enjoying the game right now. Would that be an accurate statement?
Yeah, for sure. We're we're blessed to be here. Blessed to have this opportunity to play in the NHL, and we have the best job in the world. It's a fun job. There's no doubt about it, and it's fun to be around our teammates. It's fun to work hard together. And we really do feel like we're growing together. We don't talk about those past 2 years, but this we're going in a different direction here, and everybody's all on board and aiming somewhere else here. And it's it's been a really fun process since we got here. It's been great to be around each other, get to know the new guys, and the room's in a good place.
Yeah, out there on the ice.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, live what his son did, so it's obviously brings emotions. It's nice to have him here in good spirits, and it's always nice to see Guy's face.
Did he run any drills? Did he put you guys through the ringer?
I mean, if he didn't, but if he did, we'd be pretty sore right now.
Did you have a chance to talk to him before practice or during practice at all?
Yeah, I talked to him before. I've known him for a long time, so he's in my mind all the time, in my heart, and he's a special person. Obviously, a great dad, and he was a great coach, obviously, for his kids.
What makes him a great hockey coach? What's his unique take on the game, his motivation? So what makes him a good hockey mind?
He's intelligent. He thinks kind of thinks the game how Johnny would think it. So I think Johnny learned a lot from him from a young age, and he would push John hard. And I know this summer John would call me after he'd skate with his dad, and have him doing mountains and down and backs, and I think it was just him and his dad on the ice. So those are probably some memories that he'll remember forever now.
Can you take us to the idea of the donkey hat?
What do you mean?
After the game, you had a donkey hat to remember Johnny?
Yeah, no, I said it after the game. If you knew John, he probably called you a donkey before, so that was his word. Called me a donkey probably a million times. So it's just a little something to remember him, and obviously for after wins.
Where do you go to get a donkey hat? If somebody make that?
No, that's honestly I'm not sure. Boone actually brought in 4 or 5 of them, and we went with that one. So it's there to obviously remember Johnny in the best ways, and
sure.
I think it's a nice touch.
Did you see any pictures of yourself with the donkey hat on?
Yeah, I did.
It's a good look.
Yeah, it is a good look.
Yeah.
You have to get one for good.
Yeah. Sean, what are your thoughts when you look toward tomorrow? And how do you face something like that and make it be, or create it to be motivational rather than overwhelmingly emotional?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I honestly don't have the answer, but when we step on the ice, you kind of, you play for John, and if he was here, I'd be real excited for a day like this, a home opener, a new-looking team, and we got to be excited for it.
Sean, how, you guys have had a whole camp to get on the ice together, to, enjoy the sport that all of you are so passionate about and love. How therapeutic can it be, even for Guy to get on the ice and just be out there doing what he loves as well?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's, obviously a situation. You never know when the emotions are going to come. They come in waves, I think. When I think about John, I think about how easygoing and how much he just loved just to play the game. So I think you keep that in the back of your mind when you're out there. And have Guy out there on the ice. I mean, if you know Guy, everything's hockey. So it's nice to have him back out there, obviously, and doing what he loves and being around the game.
You're teammates with him now with Kent Johnson. Did you see the photo he posted by any chance after the tragedy happened of him at your game, basically, when he was like 12 years old? Did you see that photo?
No, I didn't.
So
check it out.
Yeah, he was a big Johnny Gaudreau fan, obviously, when he was 12.
Yeah.
And basically said that Johnny was an inspiration for him to kind of, because he was small when he was a kid.
Yeah.
It's cool to hear a story like that about, the fact that Johnny had that kind of impact on somebody that ends up being his teammate eventually.
Yeah, I saw it firsthand. He had an impact on so many people. I mean, players that play against him are a fan of his and watch him and study his game and try and be like him. So I think, young kids growing up, I know for sure in Calgary there's hundreds of thousands of kids that have Johnny Gaudreau jerseys, and they're going to cherish those for the rest of their lives.